A very good evening, good afternoon, and even good morning to our wonderful ladies and gentlemen. It's my great pleasure to have all of you to join us for our closing forum for the 11th Biennial Xposition Contemporary Dance Fiesta. And I hope all of us have a wonderful, fruitful discussion about this particularly interesting topic that is very hold dearly in my heart. So let's welcome Miss Shanny and Miss Maggi.
So I don't know if we want to open up the floor if there are any questions from the audience.
Sure, we have wonderful friends, Teresa and Godlive. Godlive is one of the agent based in Berlin, and Teresa P is our old friend who also seen my development, and she just came in from Hong Kong AP as a lecturer here, and she has seen quite a number of our events or so. So, welcome, two of you. Please share with us any thoughts about our festival that you want to ask or even to share.
Thank you for the wonderful sharing. It was really inspiring listening to both of you and, for Shanny for moderating this. I have been away from Singapore for quite a while, so it was really interesting to listen to Danny and listen to the development of his company. If I were to have a question, I probably would ask Danny. You talk about reaching out and the globalization and all that, and being on the ground. Would you share with us, how do you, I'm sure people would be very interested to understand, how do a company actually work on the ground? Because I think that is something that it will be quite challenging.
Okay, so this is why it's very interesting for you to ask this question, which I always have to share with people. We are Odyssey Dance here Limited as an IPC charity, which is an organization with 6 different divisions that stretch across education, social service, international arm, professional dance training, and also in terms of corporate sectors or even the entrepreneurship sector. So you can see this is our main frame for the charity at large, that it has a bigger mission, which is inspiring lives, celebrating moments, you see. So this is how we believe as a charity to do good through using our arts and culture excellence to spread our love and inspire all sectors. So if you go into our website, you'll probably be surprised that it's not something new. In fact, since day one, we have quite a number of websites. In only 2014, we purposely, organized this across the 6 websites of 6 divisions to clearly explain to people that we are as a charity first, second, organization, then the dance company sit into one of our 6 divisions, because the dance company can perform anywhere, everywhere, right? So that's why you can see our company right now is very wonderful. We have first generation, second generation, even third generation of choreographers coming in, right? So what I'm trying to explain here is, what does it mean in terms of reaching out? First of all, is our works are very extensive. For example, education. Like this month, we're running a 1-month festival for Meta School, which involves 350 special needs kids. So you can imagine how extensive just for the education sector, and to premiere 20 works. What does it mean? It's not just about we go and teach and then make the show, We practically support like a one-stop system where we provide all the production capability, even to the post-production of all the videos you're going to see online. They have a separate website for you to. So this is one avenue of big agenda just for one school in terms of special needs education. You can imagine that? So this is under education, okay? Then I just bring example of our ODT International. How do we reach out for ODT International? So you'll probably hear Shanny that I presented my paper, I was invited as speaker, so and so forth. That division itself extends broadly to the world. So this festival is curated under ODT International that has a mission of reaching out globally and present works worldwide. So it's not only presenting ODT, but you also can present other companies, which we have supported some artists and companies to present worldwide. So you just imagine that division itself, whole lot of work. Then we talk about social service, right? We have a sector that we are very, very wonderfully supportive. So we are very care about near to death patients, so we partner with HCA Hospice Care. We work with even community justice, people may not know that we work with legal lawyers, to provide support, So we have various capabilities that people don't know because they always think that ODT, dance company. This is how people isolate us and recognize us in Singapore, because whether fortunate or unfortunately, because in Singapore system, it has been classified art groups or are companies, and they only perform. But then lately, the last 5 years, which our authority has shifted a bit, they want art companies to work on 3 tracks. Probably Teresa may not be aware. One track is performing, one track is intermediary, that you mean you reach out to another community, and then the other one is probably breaching. Breaching is actually reach out to other intermediary, but there's one intermediary means that you actually probably form an association that you breach around the world. So it has a very specific function for you to apply for major grants according to that track. So we are everywhere. Sorry to say that. You see? So you can imagine how we have grown over the years. So where does our dance company fit in? So we have a very unique system of the dance company, young company, even our youth company, right? So you see, I grew my talents, can be across 15, 20 years, and then they can help the company anyway. In fact, it doesn't matter, I have one company, I can have 5 companies, 10 companies, doesn't matter, right? But the problem in Singapore is they always tie a company with the artistic director forever. You see? But we are happy, I'm happy to have successors. That's why you see ODT right now have 6 associate artistic directors for the dance company, right? So you see how, so hopefully the answer is a little bit clearer to you, whereby how do we reach out? Because we have different avenues, platforms and programs for different sectors, but empowered by our artistic team. Our artistic team may not be just dancers in our dance company. We have our production, ODT, creative and production team. We also have our also associate artists, ODT, collective artists, you know. So it's very interesting. So we have a pool of talents that we mobilize them to do different things. You know what I mean? So this is why we are not a typical dance company with only 6 dancers performing 4 black box shows a year. To me, I think that's too easy, to be honest with you. So after running a dance company, I mean, Maggi will know what I mean, right? After 20 years, I think that's how I started in 1999 with 6 dancers and 4 administrative staff, modeling after Xposition Dance Company in year 1999. You see? And then after 2004, we move on because we are always evolving, growing, and the work is getting more and more demanding. Because, for example, if today I want to groom a talent, let's say Linia has been dancing with me for more than 15 years. You know, she has a master's degree. She's one of a very able choreographers. She does wonderful work. So how do we continue to support her? I have to create new platforms. I have to create new opportunities for her. I have to make sure that she not only dance my work, she can choose to dance in which choreographer or companies that she wants to work with. So that's the next growth. So you see, the engagement is no longer from a dance company or myself, you know. Linia can have her own company and engage the people that we want to set across. So you see, this is a playground for me now. This is why a lot of people don't understand how we work. Like, for example, an hour ago, I launched a book. Can you imagine how massive to produce a book? Then I have to need my marketing team. You know, we don't have a large team, but we do have capable, able people who really know what to produce the best results based on our understanding of the market. So we always set the bar, you know, ahead of time. So this is why the book comes in, because we are focusing on research and documentation. The festival comes in because we are focusing on championing Singaporean work worldwide, right? Connecting with the world. Social service come in, especially COVID time. I'm so happy. But then people forgotten, why is it you need a pandemic to allow you to do more good for the social service? Right? I don't understand. You know, why is it suddenly people start to talk about whether artists are essential or not? In the first place is, we have to ascertain our ability and value in society. That's how I view. You know, we still have lots of work to do. So I guess we are answering a lot of questions in the Singapore art scene, but at the same time, we're also trying to connect with the world with a clearer understanding about who we are, what we are, and how we are. Because a lot of people still have a very stereotyped way. When you go out, people recognize, oh, you are the artistic director of a dance company. Then unless I put my hat and say, I'm the festival of Xposition, oh, they say, okay, then you're festival director because you wear this hat. You know? And then when I go to another corporate function, I say, I'm the CEO of Odyssey Dance Limited. Or then they say, oh, yeah, because you're running a major organization. So what does it mean? It means that it really depending where you are and how you receive us, acknowledging where is our beginning. You see? So in the record of our authority, probably we're just another dance company. You see that? But then in actual fact, as a registered charity under the NCSS purview, we can be a quite interesting charity because we are doing lots of good work supporting other charities. So, and then again, when we talk about how do we service, have a larger engagement, we are not only responding to our parent ministry, which is MCCY, right? Our Ministry of Community, Culture and Youth, right? But then we also need to respond and also report to National Council of Social Services. Because why? We are also an associate member, unusually. And then we deal with education. So again, we have to comply with Ministry of Education rules and regulations, right? And then we work with internationally, where we tour around, we will engage with embassies. Of course, we have to work with Ministry of Foreign Affairs very clearly. So you see, we are diverse in the sense where we have actually touched base with all this, not one time or 1 year or 2 years. It's across the last 20 odd years. That's why when we want to launch Celebrating Cultural Diplomacy with the World, which is a book that is coming out very soon, that talk about our different approaches that we build this capacity, which is happening soon. That will probably give people a very clear indication why we are very adamant to split in 6 different divisions, so that people will realize that, hey, at the end of the day, as a dance company, you are here to serve, you're here to present your art, you're here to really engage as much as you can. It's not just about getting paid audience into the theater, but there are many things you can do. So why ODT as a dance company is still having lots of fun, because we are still having opportunities to perform. We are still having opportunities to do a rehearsal despite the pandemic. We are still having the opportunity to transform. So like this coming January, you're going to see my new work, Screen Dance Premiere, big large green screen that we experimented. And this is something that not an ordinary dance company can offer, can afford to do so. So it's not that we're shifting from the live show, it's just that at this point of time, these 2 years, we are inventing a new language to talk to our audience. And obviously, we'll go back to our live theater very soon, because that is something that we are very used to, you see. But it's about this point of time, how can we again find a new language to engage? Yeah, so hopefully, Teresa, come and visit us very soon at ODT Gen, then I give you a really good tour of our own spaces. Yeah, and go and visit our 10 websites and 10 Facebooks. Even this festival has a dedicated website and Facebook.
Hi everyone. Actually, I just want to say thank you. I think it was really interesting to listen to your story, how it began, it's going, and actually what you mean behind what you're doing. And I think this is always something which I think is really interesting. The educational part, the engagement, the involvement of the local communities. I think like if it was possible, all the platforms and festivals should do the same. So I'm always actually really excited when I'm listening to these type of things. And knowing now how it started and what you're doing, and the support you're giving also to the artists you've been working with for years. It's just amazing. I think we should try to kind of rebuild or steal your ideas to do the same in a lot of spaces.
Yes, I'll be happy. This is why when I first started the festival on tour in 2011, I brought 50 Singaporeans and toured South Korea and performed across 8 days. That's not something we can do. I had to work with the embassy, Singapore embassy, so together with the South Korea embassy in Singapore, mobilizing the support from Singapore International Foundation, plus MOU with the Dance Association of Korea, before I could do festivals in Singapore 10 days at the UCT Hall, which is the big theatre of 2006, and then proceed to South Korea. So you see, as long as we do international work or international relations, it entails so much effort. And it's not just about 1 or 2 times of planning. It's a lot of constant, continuous, exhaustive work. So I guess I still come back to my point about trust and also the people, the community that we have, for us to champion for something that I believe. So this year I have to thank Godlive. She was so generous to support with 3 dance companies and then with 2 workshops. So it's unbelievable, even it's online in terms of the hybrid, but our people here are doing live physically, So we are adapting to a different format, not that because everything online, everybody is, working very comfortably at home. No. We are always trying our best to physically work it out, but we have to find a mode that is convenient for everyone around the world. So just to run off about Godlive's question, I think it's really about that generosity that you have in mind. If you're generous to give and your willingness to work I'm sure you'll find solutions. So this year we found many solutions, to be honest, despite the short time, and still able to orchestrate in a very professional, very visible way. I like to use the word visible, because end of the day, people may not come to your show, but they must have heard about it. What does it mean? Because they may be interested, maybe they cannot come this time, but maybe next year they will come, or maybe 3 years later they will come,
Yeah.
So I guess this is a progression that we must bear in mind. As long as we want to stay long in this industry, you must be patient enough to grow with your audience. It's not about today I do a festival, okay, I clock in, I got 5,000 audience, and then bye-bye, I have 5 companies, I have 8 companies, I have 8 logos, I engage this and so that. This is how the world is about, which is exactly the paper I wrote now, Shanny, for the so-called the dance market. Recently, I wrote a paper for the dance Vancouver. Exactly the same, whereby it's no
I'll
longer
share the
interested for me.
link on the chat. The link
Okay,
to your
thank you so much.
article.
Yeah. So I guess the end of the day is really about that tenacity that Maggi mentioned. How long can we wait for the good things to happen? So I'm very blessed. You see, I waited 20 years finally to make a full stop for that first chapter of this festival, and then we have a book launch. I'm very honored, and then we have a chance to study what can we do more. So I'm just very blessed to have wonderful mentors that have actually seen my growth and able to constantly, have a dialogue with me to ensure I'm always on the positive vibe, because that is very essential for us to go, especially with this pandemic around.
I just came out also from a meeting with the municipality of our capital, Sofia in Bulgaria. So, and I think that the 2 days topics that all we discuss are very much overlapping, like issues we have to solve. And at the same time, I want to just to focus your attention that we just finished, and yes, there was a conference with 6 companies in between Derida, Balletto di Roma, Polish Dance Theater, Almada in Portugal, and Isica Amsterdam. And we speak a lot about generally how our sector of dance is situated in the economical situation that we work in, comparing with the speed of time that normally the art sector in dance is progressing. So the administrations very, very slowly understand the needs of the dance sector, and that we don't have a definition for a year-long place and exact working time. Yeah, so this is everything. This is connected with the status of the professionals, but also with the audiences that we develop. So you understand that the macro climate have to be considered from the small elements that we have inside. Yeah, and like Derida is totally independent model, like Odyssey in the same way. So we try to be and to consider what we deliver to the community and to the society, and how we can receive for this impact our status of culture operator, that only in that moment to be supported, not because of the need that we have to support everybody in the sector, but how the culture operators deliver according the culture policy and the macro frame for culture for every destination. So how he deliver social, educational, cultural impact for the development. Yeah. So this everything then is connected with indicators, with audiences, with the development of the artists. I think that we have to speak generally about the situation of the small elements. So that's not only want to be, everything is connected. I remember that exactly 1 year ago, 2 years ago, we were together in Vancouver, right? This picture is from there. So there were such topics, so that we have to build a macro frame, international, but at the same moment, I was very impressed how in Canada and British Columbia, they respect the local culture of indigenous people. So I think that the culture now is like the health system, totally the same. So we have to treat the culture system like the health system. So speaking and looking from the bottom to the top to all the elements, and then to see what are the results. If the culture is it's a macro tool for the development of the community, of the diplomacy, of the ambassadors, that mostly of the, for example, in dance, we have a lot of culture ambassadors, because those people go travel and make bridges in universal language.
I think Europe is a very different chemistry, because geographically, you all still can come together and meet quite easy. In fact, you are traveling. I saw you on the plane. I said, wow, marvel, But for us in Asia to Europe is challenging right now, especially the new virus coming on board. Yeah, so I think cross-continental is kind of challenging. Yeah.
I think that the model that Danny's company, ODT, in all its divisions, and what Derida is doing, it's the only way to move forward. Otherwise, it's just a huge drain, let's face it, on the government funding. They keep funding these huge institutions that keep pouring out artifacts rather than contemporary dance. And I think you guys have got the way forward. So congratulations and good luck to dance.
Thank you very much. Yeah. So I always share with my other international friends is how nice if we always remember old friends. Then you realize how easy to move forward with old friends who know you very well. If not, especially for festival, you cannot afford always find new people and then you always start a new project, which is a must, especially when people want to apply for government funding. You need a fresh name most of the time, But I guess you don't really cook in-depth products, or you don't have the chance to build real strong programming. That's how I get the sense. Even with Godlive, there's a lot of talk, and how we position it. So I guess it's something that I find very, very happy with. Really have a kind of playground and more relaxed way of making things happen. Very important to have that relaxed feel of making things happen. Otherwise, very tense for most of the time.
I'm always very happy when I see people representing the sector, and this done by initiative of strong leaders like Danny Tanis. So because my friendship with him is always from meetings when always we were discussing what we can do, what is really healthy for the dance sector, for the government, and for how we can implement a model that they work, and not only that we have to invest in efforts to advocate permanently, but just to have a real results. And with all the divisions that he made and his festivals, made them popular and visible. So he's a real example that nevertheless Asia doesn't have a program like Creative Europe in Europe. So everything is possible, and he succeeded. But I want to say something from our experience in Europe. So we try in the last 10 years to find indicators that can show the impact. And only then we can measure what is the social, what is the educational and the cultural impact, so that public money can be used for supporting culture. That's the reason maybe this is very important to be placed on the table, why the culture is important, and then how we can prove that really this importance changed the life of the people. Because in late behind our lives, so that there was a civilization that were investing in culture, that this culture was a measurement of civilization. So now the culture changed lives in the communities that need real movement in the value system, and this can be only done because of the human creativity. So indicators and measurement is something very important, but not to be converted in a mathematic. So it has to be really like culture, like a tool of changing the community that is proactive, that is moving, that really care about some social issues that we have nowadays. I use social because culture and social very connected systems. Yeah, so this is something that we have to make and deliver the introvert creators to the extrovert presenters, because a lot of artists they work and keep it only for them. But I think that people like Danny Tan, that has a stage of presentation, is doing exactly this. So connecting audiences with all this creativity that is done, and then share it to everybody, make it public. So this is, I think this is important to be done. Yeah.
We'll learn for you more. Okay. So let's give a round of applause to Shanny for the wonderful moderation. Yeah, Shanny, please sum up the whole thing for us today.
For sure. Yeah, on that note, I'd like to toast. I know we don't have wine or anything, but I have a cup of tea, and let's toast to new and old friendships that have developed.
Bottle.
Oh my God, over 23 years to be exact, and here's to many more friendships to come.
Yeah. Yes, everyone. Good health, happiness.
Thank you.